This video is sponsored by G2A. Use cashback code DORON for 3% off on Warcraft products. Hello guys, this is Doronsmovies, and for years the main topic has been how evil is Sylvanas and what she has done wrong. While a lot of that is actually true, let's talk about top 5 good deeds of Sylvanas Windrunner. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. Number 5. The battle against the Lich King. The Lich King essentially created the Forsaken and cursed Sylvanas to her fate. While most of her reasons for defeating this great evil were selfish and were a part of a personal vendetta, it is unfair to discount the effect that it had on the world. Sylvanas contributed greatly to the defeat of Arthas and fully committed herself and her armies. The undead fleets invaded Northrend and helped with logistical support. The Forsaken built bases all across the continent, providing the necessary infrastructure. Many Forsaken fell in Northrend and contributed a lot of manpower in the battle against the Lich King. Even Sylvanas herself actually went on an undercover mission, infiltrating the main citadel of the Scourge, directly endangering her being. While there were some controversies with the Wrathgate and possibly even Sylvanas knowing about it before it occurred, she still dealt with the perpetrators, which ruined her reputation for years, having the orcs monitor the Forsaken in the future. So, while a lot of Sylvanas' reasons were selfish, she was still a big part of the joint effort against the Lich King, which contributed to world stability and peace. Number 4. Making the Horde stronger. A very controversial statement, but true to an extent. Since the New War, Sylvanas has made the Horde significantly stronger, being able to conquer most of Kalimdor in a very short period of time, which is something Garrosh had attempted to do for years, with all sorts of power that was built before him and by him. However, Sylvanas started off with the Horde essentially being in shambles. The war against Garrosh significantly crippled the faction, as well as the subsequent invasions and a loss of a war chief. While the Horde would probably recover on its own, just 5 to 10 years is really not enough to replenish all the loss of manpower and machinery. A counter-argument is that Sylvanas has also made the Horde weaker, in a sense by dividing the faction, with Saurfang and Bane rebelling and most other influential figures being mainly against the war chief. Still, the fact stands that the Horde was empowered, especially with the addition of the allied races and the alliance that she had formed with the Zandalari. The Horde now has the navy, weaponry and the manpower to stand toe-to-toe with the alliance. Number 3. Technological development. While used for a lot of war crimes, Sylvanas definitely helped massively in the development of Horde technology. Forsaken are some of the best alchemists and scientists within both factions, and what makes them truly succeed is their lack of morals and ethics, as bad as that sounds. Forsaken have very often committed terrible experiments on war prisoners and even allies, and some of those have actually been either approved by Sylvanas or she didn't really put a stop to it. This, however, led to a significant boost in magical knowledge as well as weaponry. Under Sylvanas, the Forsaken developed a new plague, which has proven to be extremely powerful. The development began when the Forsaken joined the Horde, but it has been made stronger and perfected throughout the years. This significantly helped the Horde in wars and even the battle against the Lich King and the Burning Legion. In the battle for Lordaeron, it was the Forsaken Blight that turned the tide of battle and essentially made the Alliance victory useless. Now, while developing deadly weapons of war is not exactly a good deed, it has definitely helped her people and made the Horde stronger, saving lives that could have been potentially lost. Number 2. Protecting her people. While recently this has been brought in question due to the crimes committed against her people, there is no doubt that Sylvanas has done a lot for the Forsaken. As she was originally cursed and suffered a terrible fate, she assumed the leadership and created the newly founded faction by rebelling against Arthas. After that, she decided to join the Horde in order to defend herself against the Alliance and to make her people stronger. Since then, the Dark Lady has worked on increasing her power and creating a place in the world for the undead. She then acquired the Valkyr to reinforce the manpower and even worked on developing necromancy so that the Forsaken can sustain themselves. While she was never the most loyal member of the Horde, she always put the interests of the undead first when compared to the other races, which makes sense since she is their representative. While there have been recently some sacrifices and crimes, it is really hard to say that Sylvanas doesn't care for her own, as without her, most likely the Forsaken would just be random undead monsters scattered around the Eastern Kingdoms, waiting to be cleaned up. And lastly, number 1. The fight against the Legion. Much like the Northern campaign, Sylvanas was a very important part in the struggle against the Burning Legion. This was technically a continuation of the fight against the Lich King, albeit indirectly, as the Lich King was also a product of the Legion. Still, Sylvanas committed the Forsaken in the battle and went out of her way to contribute to the war effort. She was even fighting herself on the Broken Shore, where many heroes of Azeroth lost their lives. While she did retreat, as almost everyone did except Varian, it doesn't discount the fact that as a leader, she fought by herself at the head of the biggest Legion invasion ever. After that, she became the war chief and essentially led half of the Azeroth's war effort in the battle against the demons and the final defeat of Sargeras. While she made questionable actions such as attempting to enslave our allies, as well as a few other amoral actions, it doesn't discount that she was in large part responsible for finally freeing Azeroth from its biggest threat that has been haunting the world for many millennia. Thank you for watching. Check out 5 worst projects of Sylvanas by clicking on the screen and subscribe, as it really helps out and keeps all the content going. See you next time.